includes
Nesse vídeo, você vai aprender.
Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we successfully complete our first project, right? And we successfully done this job. And now in this video, I will start a new session, and into this session, we'll develop another project. So first of all, I want to set up our new project. If you go to your exercise folder, as I told you friend, after end of this course, I will share this folder with you, and that is our first project, right? And into this first project, I have already, whatever the things I have done, I have already shared this folder with you. So we started from to this area, so I make it as a monster finder as a start, and whatever the things I have write down all that code, right? Here I have already write down all that code in our index.js. And now that is our end one. That means that is our done one. Okay, so you will get both of this in here. Now let's go to our second project. So that is our second project, and that is our structure that will be started from to this position. If you want to check this our UI, I just simply open it. Now you can see that is one of the static file. I have already created that design, and there is a e-wallet, and there is some of the balance, or there is the income, and then there is the expense. And into this position, this project I want to make it as interactive. Right now, that is all that is static data. I have already created that design. So now I want to do, if you add one of the income description, and here if you make it as a plus, then that will be displayed as a plus dollar. If you make it as a minus, then that will be as a minus dollar. Okay, then this color will be changed, and here you can also add your value. Okay, whatever the value you choose, and after that, if you click as OK, then that will be included in here. So that is the simple another project now on to work, and here we'll use that our local storage. Okay, I hope local storage will be very much clear to you right now. And that is our UI design. That is index.html file. Okay, here first of all, I want to take this our empty project, I copy it, and now in our desktop I have already created another folder as a JavaScript, right? Here I want to do and to actually test it. After complete this project, I will save it in here. Okay, I will save it in here as a e-wallet done. And now our work is we have to take this file. You have to take this file in our editor. I simply open with the new open folder, and this open folder, now there is our another one in our JavaScript as a e-wallet start. Okay, I simply select this folder. Now you can see all that file is in here. So they have some of the icon, they have some of the PNG icon, and also that is actually the logo, and also there is an index CSS. So all the CSS, okay, all the CSS code for make that UI for design it. So that is all that our CSS. Now there is HTML, and then in our index.js. So we'll work in particular this file. I hope you already get some of the idea of what exactly the things we have to do. So we'll code in particular this index.js area. Okay, and that is our static file as a HTML, that is index.html. Right, you can see that is actually our all that is static data. Okay, now that is actually running as index HTML. And into this index HTML, what exactly in here? They have some of the head, they have some of the title, and after that, there is one of the div. Okay, you can see there is a div for, and also display one of the images as a PNG, as icon PNG for our this position. You can see it's now display this icon. And then they have one of the balance sheet. There is a balance income, there is an expense, there is income expense. Okay, there is another div, and also for add, they have one of the form. Into this form area we have to work. Okay, that is one of the form, and this form means that is actually one of the form, and here you can plus it, you can minus it. They have some of the value option. So after that you can see there is one of the buy physics book, and there is also another one of the div as a buy physics book, and the salary. Okay, now that is one part. Okay, that is one of the div items. So they have the two item right now. There is a one item, and also there is another item, right? So there is also another item, because they have the right now as a two item, one item, and then there is another item. Okay, so that is our initialize all that file, and also I included that index.js. Everything is very simple, only they have the static all that file HTML code. Okay, so now that is actually our project UI. We'll start it from to this position, and then now I want to make it as a dynamic. Okay, how can do that work from our next video? Step by step I will do that work with the live example. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we successfully set up our total template, right? That is our e-wallet template. And also I included this project in our editor, in our Visual Studio Code editor, here all that file, right? First of all, I want to run our this index HTML with the live server. I simply run it. Now you can see it's now successfully loaded. So friend, here first of all I want to work in our this form. Okay, here that have one of the form in our HTML template. If you go to our HTML template right now, that is our index.html, right? And into this index.html there have one of the form. Like here you can see that is one of the form, and into this form there have also one of the ID as the e-wallet form. So first of all I want to get this ID. Okay, here I want to get this ID. Now what exactly we have to do? Now we have to take it in our index.js, right? Here we have to work. First of all, I want to get it. So if you want to get it, first of all, here we have to run out the document. And after the document, I want to select our form, right? I want to select our form ID. If you want to get this, then that will be as a query selector. So now with this query selector, I want to get this ID. Okay, so here, if you want to get this ID, our ID name as e-wallet form, I simply copy it now in our index. Into this index here, if you want to add this ID, as I told you before, here we have to add that hash, and then that will be as a ID. And after that, we have to add one of the listener, right? So if you want to add that listener, then that will be the add event listener. Okay, so I simply add that add event listener. So that is one of the method, and into this method area here, first of all we have to declare the type. Okay, that will be, I make it as a submit type. So I make it as a submit type. And also after that, here we have to declare one of the function. So I simply loaded that function, and into this function area here I want to pass one of the event. Okay, here I simply pass one of the event. I hope you already remember that part, because I have already discussed about that things with you. And now for the first time I want to do, like, when you submit this form, this page not should be loaded. Okay, that means this page not should be reloaded. If you want to prevent it, then there is our this event I want to prevent. So there is also another function as a prevent default. Okay, there is a prevent default method. So with this method it should be protected our reload page. Okay, now I want to check it. If you want to the first time I want to check it with the console log, with the console, and then the console log area here I want to do when this form will be submitted, it will be display as a form. Okay, form submitted. This type of the message that will be displayed in our console area. Okay, now let's check this out. If everything okay, it should be work. Now click as a save all, and now if you go here, I want to refresh it. Okay, I just simply put one of the name, that is one of the description, I put one of the value, and after that if you click as a submit, and now if you go to that inspect, okay, into this inspect I have to check it. Now go to that source, and there is a console, right? And into this console here you can see, if you now refresh it, now I want to submit it again. Okay, I submit it, and again I put some of the value, click as a enter. You can see it's now displayed as a form submitted. That means right now from here I simply displayed when this form will be submitted, then that will be displayed as a form submitted, which is totally fine. And now I want to actually get this value. That means whatever the things you will pass in here, and also that is all that our value as a numeric value. So this description and this number is value, all the data I want to get. Okay, here now we have to work for this. So which data I want to get? I want to get that this plus minus, and also that have one of the description, and then that is our value. So if you go to our HTML, into this index.html, that is our form. You can see into this form that is our option as a select option, and now that is our select class as a add type. Here we have to get it, and also there is another one, that is input field, right? Input field, that is a add description, that is also another class. Here we have to get this class, and also another one as the input field add value, right? So that is actually the 3 field. I want to get that 3 field data. So if you want to get this 3 field data, what exactly you have to do? Like in our index. So into this index I want to do here, there is very much easy process. That means the same process now we have to work, but I want to take one of the variable. Okay, into this variable area I want to take it. So better I make it as a constant variable, and here I take one of the variable as a type. okay, type type. And then I want to do that will be as a document, and then the query selector. So that is a query selector, and here I want to get that our class name here, if you go, that is our add type, right? I want to simply get this add type class, and from to this position, what exactly the data I want to get? I want to get that value, right? So that will be as a value. So I simply get this value. Okay friend, I hope it's very much clear to you. And also I want to take our another one, that will be the description. I take another constant variable and I just name it as a description. Okay, description, and then the document, and then the query selector. And with this query selector, now there is our another class for the description field, that is input field. You can see there is our another class name as add description. So I copy this add description, and now here I simply paste it. Great. And also from to the description, I want to get that value. Okay, I simply load this value, and then the another one with the constant, I name it as a value. Okay, value, whatever the name actually you choose. So now then the same process with the document and then the query selector. I hope friend every part becoming very clear, right? And now there is our another field in here, that is our add value. Okay, there is our another input field, class name as add value. I simply copy it, and then I want to add it in here. From to this position, I want to get that value. Now if you want to check it, you can check it with the console log. Okay, console, that is a console log, and into this console log area, here I want to print our three of this variable. One is the type, another is the description, another is the value. Okay, I simply take both of these, and now if you want to check it, click as a save all, and now go to our project. Now click as a refresh. Okay, I make it as a refresh, I make it as a plus, and I put as a aryan, there is a description, and I put that value as a 20. Okay, and now if you click as a submit, perfect, you can see it's now perfectly get that plus value. That means that is actually our selected value, and then there is our description value, and also that is our value. Okay, it's now perfectly get all that our form value. I hope friend it's very much clear to you. So now I want to do when you submit this form. Okay, I have already get this value as a plus, and then the description value, and then that is our input value, right? Here I have already get all the data. Now this data I want to do and to visible it in here. Okay, that is one of the two item. As I told you before, if you go to our index.html, into this index.html, here you can see that is also one of the item, and then there is another item. I want to do and to visible that things like that way. Okay, here when you submit it, then this all that our value will be added in here with this item layout. So if you want to do that work, like there is on the collection. So first of all, I want to actually take this item, and then into the child area, that means in our collection child, I will actually add this part. It's very easy process. But I copy this item. Okay, I copy this total item, and now we have to work in our index. So into this index, better first time I want to put some of the comment, multiple syntax comment. I want to use it, and also I want to close it. Okay, I simply close it, and here I paste it. So that is our total item, and in particular that position I want to do after this, because I have already get the type, description, and the value. Right now we can actually display it. I want to do and to take one of the constant. Okay, constant. I take that constant, and I just name another variable as a new HTML. Okay, HTML, and here I want to do and to use that as a backtick, because I want to display all that our value. That is our backtick, and into this backtick area, here I want to copy this item. Okay, I copy this item, and then I paste it. Okay, I simply paste it. So in particular that position, what exactly we have to do, like that is one of the description, right? Description means that is a description. I want to do and to display this description. If you want to display it, then what exactly you have to do? First of all, that will be as a dollar, right? Remember, I hope you already remembered that part. That will be as a dollar, and then the curly bracket. So into this curly bracket, that will be our description. Great. And also I want to do the same things. I want to do the same things for the, you can see there is display as a minus, and then that will be another one as a plus. So here that will be our type. I want to do and to use it first of all as a dollar, and then that will be as a type, right? Here that will be display our type as a plus or minus, and after the dollar, then that will be display our value. Okay, I will simply copy it, and then first of all, the first time that will be as a dollar sign, and then in a curly bracket I want to display the value. Okay, that's all. Okay, and now I want to better visible it. Okay, I want to visible it. So after this, okay, after this, that is our curly bracket, that means our backtick is ended in here, right? Backtick is ended, and before this I want to do a display. I want to display with the console log, that will be as a console, and with the console log here I want to display our this new, okay, new HTML. I want to do and to display it, then everything will be more clear. And here I want to make it as a semicolon. Okay, now let's check this out. Click as a save all, and now if you go, now refresh it, and now I want to pass as a minus. I pass as a some of the text, I pass on the value. Click as a enter. You can see it's now perfectly get our this total item, and also you can see it's now display our value as a 44. Here I have passed that 44. They have some of the text. You can see there is the text is display, there is a description is display perfectly, right? And also it's now display as a minus because I have actually select as a minus type. So now what exactly we have to do? So that is one of the item, right? So this item is one of the child class. If you go to our index HTML, into this index HTML there is our another class as a collection, right? Into this collection area there is one of the child class as a item. Now for the first time we have to take our this collection, and then we have to append this item in here. So that is a pretty much simple process we have to flow. So now first of all I want to get our this collection. If you want to get this collection, what exactly you have to do after this? Okay, after this I want to do better. I want to take one of the variable with the constant variable. That is a constant variable. I just name it as a collection, and then into this collection that will be the same as a documents, and then the query selector. With this query selector I want to get this class name, right? Our class name here as a our parent as a collection. I copy it, that will be as a collection. Okay, I simply get it, and after that into this collection area here I want to add our this item, right? That is the actual item I want to take it. So if you want to do that work, they have the multiple way you can do it, but in this video I want to discuss about another function that will be as a I just show you. That will be as a collection. Okay, there is a collection variable because here I have already get this class, take the things with this variable as a collection. Now with this collection they have one of the method as a insert. Okay, insert adjacent HTML. That is one of the method. Okay, into this method area here I want to pass one of the position. Okay, so that will be pass one of the parameter as a position parameter. You can see it's also display as a position. So you can actually display multiple position like here. I want to do when you submitted, that will be display for the first time. Okay, that means our last data will be displayed into the first area. So they have one of the position name as a after begin. I want to use this position name as after begin. Okay, after begin, and into this after begin area here I want to pass our this HTML. Okay, that means that is actually our total HTML item. Here I have already take it with this variable as a new HTML. So here I want to pass it. Okay, simply pass it. I hope friend it's very much clear to you. So if you search into the Google with the insert adjacent HTML, then everything will be more clear. Like here if you search it, okay, if you search it, then like there is one of the resources. In the first resources you can see there is a element insert adjacent element. So you can see that is actually all that position. Actually they have the position as a before begin, as a before that element itself, and after begin just insert that element before the first child. Okay, here you can see they have some of the position name, so you will get some of the references from here. So right now it's totally fine. I want to make it as a first position. So for the reasons here I make it as a after begin. Okay, now let's check this out. If you now click as a save all, and now if you go, and now I want to refresh. Okay, I refresh and I make it as a plus. I put as a Aryan, and I just put that value as a like as a 44. Okay, or 40. I make it as a 40. Now click as a submit. You can see it's not perfect. It's not successfully inserted this data without loading that page. There is display name as a Aryan, and also is display as a plus, and then that is our 40 value. Okay friend, I hope every part is very much clear to you. And also here if you want to insert another one, like I just refresh. Okay, I just refresh again. I make it as a plus and I make it as a Aryan. and I put that value as a 410. Now click as a enter, successfully enter. I make it as another one as a Kazi, and for the Kazi I make it as a minus. Okay, and for the minus I make it as a 40 again. Now click as a enter, that means the submit. Now you can see it's now successfully loaded. That is a new item as a Kazi, another item as a Aryan. But here one things, like in our theme into the salary, you can see when that will be as a plus, here I'm actually loaded another class, and that when that will be as a minus, that means a minus amount, then that is another class. Okay, like if you, right now we don't need this, better I close it. And if you go to our HTML, into the index HTML, like you can see that is one of the class as a expense amount. For the expense amount, that will be as a red, and also there is another one as an income amount class. So this class will be as a blue, right? Here we have to actually get both of these. That means when that will be as a plus type, then that will be as an income account, rather than that will be as a expense account. So here we have to work a little bit better on to do and to continue this process. In our next video, I will show you that things with the live example. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we are able to successfully insert and display this item in here, right? Now there have some of the issues, like in our theme there have the two type of class, right? One is for the plus and another is for the minus. So for the plus, as I told you here, if you go to our index.html, for the minus that will be our class name as expend amount, and for the plus then that will be as income amount. So that is actually depends on in our which things, that is depends on in our type, right? So that is a minus type rather than that will be as a plus type. If you go to our index.js, and in particular here you can see into the dev, there is a dev class, that is an item amount, and then that is actually our class. So into this position I want to add one of the ternary operator. Then with this condition we can actually do that work very easily. Better I show you. Right now I want to make it as a clean. Okay, I make it as a clean. So for the first time I want to use that as a dollar. Okay, into this dollar, and then our type, right? Into this type area we have to work, so that will be as a type. I simply added that type, and when this type will be equal plus, right? I want to use it as a plus. When that will be as a plus, then that will be display. If you go, that means when that will be as a plus type, then that will be as a income amount, right? I copy it, then that will be as a income amount. Okay, and else I want to make it as else it should be what? Else it should be our another one as a expense amount, that is a minus amount, right? I copy it and then I simply add it. Okay, so that's all you have to do. I hope you already know about this ternary operator. So with this type, when that will be equal plus, then our class name will be as income amount, else it will be as a expend amount. Okay, now with this we can actually do that work very easily. If you now click as a save all, now go there, and now if you refresh it, then that will be actually gone, because here I didn't save this data. Okay, laterally we will save all the data in our local storage. I will show you that things with you with the live example. Right now I make it as a refresh, you can see it's totally gone. For the first time I want to make it as a plus, I make it as a Aryan. Okay, Aryan, and then I put one of the value as a 40. Now click as a submit. Yes, you can see now that is one of the plus type. For the reasons you can see it's now changed as a green. Okay, and if you make it as a minus, now click as a submit. Yes, you can see for the Aryan, and also that is a minus amount. When that will be as a minus type, then that will be as a red. Perfect. Now I want to do here, like when that form will be submitted, you can see after that submitted, this value, that means the description, and then there is a 40 is visible, right? That is value is visible, and here that is selected as a minus. So I want to do when that will be submitted, then everything will be as a empty. Okay, and here it will be, there is a two option as a plus minus. For the first time there is a plus, that means plus will be selected. Okay, how can do this work? For doing this, we have to declare one of the function, like here into the index, into this index here. Okay, here I want to declare one of the function and just name it as a reset. Okay, reset form. This type of one of the function I declare. And now into this function, better here I want to load this function. I simply run that function, and then our function name will be as a reset form, right? Reset form. So that is actually our reset form. I want to declare this reset form, and into this reset area, which things I want to reset? I want to reset our this plus minus, there is a description, and then there is an input value, right? Everything in our which place, everything I have already declared it with the type and the description and the value. Okay, and then that is actually all that our value. Better I copy it. I copy the total things, and now in our this reset function, okay, here there is a put on the semicolon, and I want to do and to paste it. So right now we don't need this any variable. I simply remove this variable, I remove it, and also I remove it, because there is all that our value. Our add type value, this value I want to make it as a empty. Okay, so then that will be as a empty, rather than for that is for our add type, right? I want to do unto a plus will be as a selected. For the reasons here I want to pass as a plus. Okay, and then our this one that means our description. So this description I want to do and to make it as a, that will be as a empty. Okay, that will be as a empty, and also same for our add value, that will be as a empty. Okay, after the submitted, or these three of this will be as a empty, and for the first add type, that will be one of the plus. Okay, so friend, that's all. Now if you want to check it, click as a save all. Now go. How much easy it is, you can see if you refresh, I make it as a Aryan or something like that, plus a plus, I put as the value. Now click as a submit. Yes, you can see that is successfully inserted, and after that inserted, it's become changed. It's now selected as a plus, our add description is empty, and also our value is empty. Okay, so here I hope everything is very much clear to you. And now I want to do our next step, like if you actually pass on the empty array. Okay, here if you make it as empty, now you can see there is a empty data is inserted. Here we have to prevent it, right? So if you want to prevent it, better I want to do, that is all that our code, right? Here I want to like that is all that our code. Better I want to take all the things in one function, then that will be actually better. Okay, for doing this from our constant new HTML, I copy everything. Okay, I copy it before that reset. I simply copy or cart it. Okay, I simply cart it. And now I want to declare here. Here I want to declare one of the function name. Okay, I make it that function as a add item. Okay, I make it as a add items function. So into this add item area, here also we have to pass three of this parameter. One will be as a type, another will be as a description, and also another will be as a value, right? I simply pass everything in here, which is totally fine. And now on that these add items, okay, here I want to declare this function, that will be as a function, and then the add item. Okay, add items, and there is a add items function, and into this add item function area here, that will be same as a type. Okay, type, sorry, that will be the type, and then the description, and then that will be the value. Okay, that is a value. I simply take it, and into this function here I want to paste it. Okay, I simply paste it. Perfect. I simply loaded this function, and also I load this function in here. That means here, so that means our result will be just like that same, everything will be just like that same. If you want to check it, click as a save all, and now if you go click as a refresh, I pass on the name plus value, make it as a 44. You can see it successfully inserted this data. If you make it as another one, I make it as a 55. Now click as insert, minus data is our class change. Okay, everything is great. So simple work actually. I take all the things in a one function, and I declare this function in here. Okay, so that is actually our total function. Great. So now I want to solve our another issue. That means if you make it as an empty value, okay, here we have to actually prevent this empty value. Literally, I will also discuss about the time, how can set this time. That means when you insert any data, then it should be get your appropriate computer data. Okay, and that means computer date. Literally, we'll do that work. First of all, I want to solve this issue. So if you want to solve this, that is our description, right? If you go, that means here there is a reset. Right now there is a console log. We don't need this console log. Here I want to remove it. Okay, we don't need this. And now here I want to add one of the if condition. Okay, it's very easy. I want to add one of the if condition, and into this if condition area here I want to actually check our this description length. Okay, so I have already get our document type value with this variable as a description, right? Now simple work with this description. I want to check that length. So that is our another property as a length property. Remember, there's the length, that is a length property, and this length property when it should be as a greater than 0. Okay, when it should be as a greater than 0, or I make it as or, then our value, and because there is also another one, I take that our value data, take the things with this variable, and that is our value, right? And this value also here I am to declare that length. When this length will be as a greater than 0, okay, then it will be run our this add item. That means this add item, this function will be run, and also reset form will be executed, right? But I cut it, and here I simply paste it. So friend, that's all. Now that will be check it. Okay, now that with this condition it will be check. Now if you click as a save all, now go there, click as a refresh, and now if you make it as a empty, you can see it's not working. Okay, it's not insert any data, but if you pass any data value, click as a enter, yeah, it's perfect. If you pass it as a empty, it will be not inserted. Great. How much easily we solve this issue. I hope you like it very much. And here one thing is like the length when that will be as a equal to 0. So this one and then that is our total one is same things. If you don't want to use it, you can actually make it as a clean. Okay, like description, like if you now click as a save all, now that is the same condition will be executed. Click as a refresh, enter it, you can see there is the same things. I hope friend you get some of the idea. In our next video I want to discuss about the timing when you insert any data. Okay, when you insert any data, then it's actually now that is static, one of the data is visible, right? I want to do it should be display in your computer appropriate time. How can do that work? In our next video I will show you that things with the live example. Hello friend, welcome back. In your previous video here, we successfully able to add some of the value, right? That means we successfully add some of the item, which is totally fine. And also I have discussed about when that will be empty, you are not able to add any item. Now in this video, I want to discuss about this time. Okay, and also our post time format will be like that. Okay, so if you want to do that work, better I copy it. And then here I want to put some of the references. I want to get this time like that. Okay, so that will be our time format. I will simply put some of the comment. So if you want to get this time, then there is also another option as a date. So better here with this constant, I take another variable as a now time. Okay, now time means I want to do with this new, there is a date format that I simply loaded this date. And now if you display it with this console log, okay, with this console and then with the console log, now if you display that now, then that will be display one of the date, that is your current date. If you now click as a save all, now go there, click as a refresh, and now if you go to that inspect, into this inspect, if you go to the console, now you can see it's not display our this current time. So I don't want to display that things like that way. Our format will be like it, right? Here we need that our PM or the AM. So if you want to get it, then there is also another method we have to do, like in our now, into this now position I want to do and to declare another method as a to locally time string. Okay, so that is a to locally time string. If you call it, now that will be changed. If you now click as a save all, and now if you go click as a refresh, now you can see it's our display like that way. Now we have to get that our date, and we have to get that month, and then there is our time, right? So if you want to get these things like that way, then there have also like here you can add some of the option. Okay, for the first time I want to make one of the option, or that will be as English, and then also that will be as a US type. Okay, so with this it will be divided your time with the 12 hour. So I make it as English and then the USA. And after that I want to add another option or another multiple option, because we have to display the date and then our month, right? Here I want to add one of the object, and into this object I want to declare some of the property as a month property. Okay, I simply loaded that month property. So into this month property here they have some of the default option. You can see when you press it, now there is option, or also if you put your cursor, they have some of the option as a numeric, 2-digit, long, short, and the narrow. Okay, so now for the month I want to do that will be if you go, you can see that is one of the short form of the month, right? And also I want to get the 2-digit, and also for the time I want to get the 2-digit, right? if you want to do that work, so for the month I want to use it our option as a short option. Okay, that will be the short. I simply loaded that short. Great. And after that I want to declare another one as a day. Okay, a day property, and for the day property I want to declare that will be as a 2 numeric, because date format will be as a numeric, and then I want to display that our property will be as a 2 digit, right? Because here that is display our hour as a 2 digit. Okay, and minute also will be as a 2 digit. So I want to make it as a 2 digit, and for the minute, okay, for the minute, that is the default one of the property, and this property I want to make it as a 2 digit. Great. So I simply load it. Okay, and now if you click as a save all, and now if you go refresh it, you can see now that is display like that. Is very much relative our this format. If you compare it, but I copy it, and now our format I get it like that. Okay, but here one things, like first for here our format that I want for the first time, that will be display as a our date, and then that will be display as a month. But our right now I'm actually receiving some of the format. The receiving format for first time, that is display the month, and then that is display the date, right? Now we have to swap it. I have already discussed about that things with you, how to swap it. So now I want to do, and also here that is actually one of the date object. Okay, so better I want to take it. I simply copy or cut it from to this position, and in our date, okay, into this date area. After this I want to paste it. So right now we don't need this. I simply close it. Okay, I simply close it. And now I want to do, for the first time I want to just simply understand what exactly the things I'm doing. It's very easy if you understand. Like I take one of the variable as a date, and with this date, that is our now, right? So I have already taken all that our date format variable into this now. So now with this now area here, I want to declare our split method. Okay, I want to split with what? Like here if you go, right now we are getting this, right? That is one part, and then there is another comma, and after that there is our another part. That is our time part, and that is our date part, right? I want to split with this comma. Okay, if you want to split with this comma, then only you have to do here, I want to split with the comma. Okay, now if you want to check it, I show you in the console log. Okay, console. With this console log, if you now display our this date, now then everything will be more clear. If you now click as a save all, so here I'm actually splitting with comma, right? Before I get this data like that way, like here that have one of the comma, so now that will be defined with the 2 array. I show you. If you now click as a refresh, now you can see it's now split with this comma, and if you go, now there is a 0 index, and that is our 1 index. So here I want to change our this format, right? For the first time I want to work into the 0 index. Laterly we'll get the time. Our time is perfect here, we don't need to change anything, but our date format, that will be changed, because that will be display of date as a first and month will be as a next, right? So now I want to split here. Okay, I want to split in our this 0 index, right? So that is a 0 index, and that is our total date, and into this date area here they have one of the space. You can see they have one of the space. So now with this space I want to split it again. So here after that, okay, after that, that will be our which index, that will be as a 0 index, right? Into the 0 index area here I want to declare another split, and now I want to split with the space. Okay, so now that will be another function. Now if you click as a save all, and now if you go, now there is our 0 index. Now click as a refresh. Yes, now you can see now that is divided with the 0 index as a October, and 1 index will be as a 27. Simple. Now I want to display our first that means 1 index first and then 0 index later, right? So then our format will be same. I want to take another variable. I hope you friend it's very much clear to you. So there is the constant variable. I name it as a format time. So this type of another variable, and here for first time I want to make it as a backtick, and into this backtick that will be the dollar sign. With this dollar sign I declared the curly bracket, and then that will be the date, right? And into this date area I want to get that our this date first, so that will be as a 1 index. I want to get that as a 1 index. Okay, that is our 1 index, and then that will be our another one with this same curly bracket, and then the date, and then the date here I want to display our second one. Then that will be display our month. Month is the 0 index, so I want to display as a 0 index. Okay, here I simply loaded that things in here. You can see that will be after that. I simply cart it because that is our first one, and then that will be our another one. Okay, now that will be our one index. One index means that will be display our date, and the 0 index that will be display our month. Great. Now if you want to check it, like here with this console log, okay, with this console log, I want to display our this format. Okay, here also I make it as a semicolon, the formatted time. Now everything will be very clear. Before that was display the month and then the date. Now I have display the one index. One index means that will be display our date, right? That will be displayed the date and then the month. Simple. So now if you click as a save all, I take it here. Now that should be display. Click as a refresh. You can see now that is display as a date first, and then that is our October, that is month, right? And now after that I want to display our another one as a another part. I have already discussed about that things with you. That is our time, right? Time that was into the one index. So better I want to get this time, another variable as a constant variable. Constant, so that is a constant variable. I name it as a time. Okay, for the time that will be as a now. Before I have already checked it the now, and with this now I want to split. I want to split with the comma. Okay, so here as I told you that will be needed. So that is our I split the comma, and then that is a clear which data, that is our one index data, right? Because into the 0 index that was actually our this part, and one index that was our this time part, right? So here I split with the same again with the comma, and now I want to get this part. So that will be our 0 and that is our 1. So for the reasons here I want to take it as a one index data, so that will be as a 1. Okay, I simply take it. So now with our formatted time here we get our this format, right? So now we get this format and then the comma. So after that I want to add that as a comma, and then I want to display our time. Our time I take the things with this variable. Now that should be with this dollar sign and then the curly bracket, our time, right? So now that is appropriate. If you now click as a save all, and now if you run our this formatted time, click as a refresh, you can see now that is a date, then the month, and then the time. So now that is totally appropriate. Okay friend, how to do that work? I hope every part is very much clear to you. So now we have to display it in here, right? Before display I want to do that is our total work. But I want to take everything, our total time format, I cart it. Okay, I cart it, and I want to declare one of the function. Okay, I want to declare one of the function, and I just put one of the function name as a get formatted time. Okay, so this type of one of the name, so that is our function name. And here I want to paste it. Okay, I simply paste it. Great. So now I want to return you can return this method. Okay, you can return this function rather than everything is in our here, right? Everything in here. So better I want to return this part. Right now we don't need this, and here I want to return it. Okay, I simply return this. So from here I want to return it. So into this return area, because here actually display our this total date format, right? So from here I simply return it, and that is our function. So now I want to display it. I want to display it in our which place. So that is our dev item. Into this item area you can see that is actually the time, right? So in particular that position I want to display. So if you want to display it for the first time, I want to take our property, that means our function here. Okay, here better I want to I take one of the constant variable. That is a constant variable. I name it as a time, and into this time area here I want to declare our method name for the get time method. That is this one, right? Where I copy it, and then after this here I simply paste it. Okay, so I take that method, I take it with this time, and now I want to display this time here. Okay, so I simply remove it, and in particular that position if you want to display, then for the first time that will be as a dollar, and then into the curly bracket I want to display the time. Okay, simple. Now let's check this out. If you now click as a save all, and now if you go click as a refresh. Okay, I refresh it. Right now we don't need this. I refresh it again. I put on the name, that will be as a plus. I put that value, click as a enter. You can see it's not perfect. It's not perfectly get the 27 October and exactly my time. Okay, exact time is now successfully added. If you add another one, put that value, insert it, say that is actually appropriate time. You can see it's totally now dynamic. Okay friend, how can do that work? I hope it's very clear. If you want to add that -1, I put that value, insert it, everything is working, date format is also successfully working. Okay, I hope friend you get some of the idea how to do that work. So in our next video I want to work in our local storage. Okay, how can do that work step by step? I will show you that things with the live example. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video here we successfully able to set our time, right, which is totally fine. Now in this video I want to store this data. Here I want to store this data, and also I want to get all the data from our local storage. For the local storage I have already discussed about that things with you. If you go to that inspect, and with the inspect, if you go to that application, so that is the application, and that is our local storage. Okay, here I want to save all that item, and also I want to get all that item. So if you want to set it or get it, as I told you before, we have to get it with the object, right? Let's do that work. For doing this, from here I want to pass which data. I want to pass the type, that will be one of the description, that is our value, and then there is our time, right? I have already get everything. If you go to our code into this position, like right now, that is everything, right? There is our time, and there is our all that our value, right? All that our value I have already get it as a type, description, value, and also there is another one as a time, right? Now I want to do, that is our total add to cart reset form. I want to do that is all that our function, that is our add item function, and then that is our reset form, right? So that is our reset form. So into this function, that is I have already created all that our item, right? I have already get that things in our add item. So into this item area I want to declare one of the function. I want to actually load this function. Okay, I want to create another function name as a add item. Okay, item to local storage. Okay, so this type of another function now I want to create, and into this area here we have to pass all that our things, like here we have to pass that as a type. I make it as a, here I want to pass that into the parameter area. I want to pass that as a type. I want to pass that as a description, right, into the description, and also I want to pass that value. I take it as a value, and also I want to pass that as a time. Okay, I make it as a time. Great, perfect. So now I want to call this function. Okay, here there is a reset form. So after that reset form, here I want to create another function. That will be as a function, and our function name will be as a add item to local storage. Okay, so that will be our function, and into this function area here also you have to pass all that parameter as a type, description, value, and then time. I simply pass it. Okay friend, so for the first time, if there have any item, okay, if there have any item, I want to get this item. So if you want to get this item, I take one of the variable as a items. Okay, items. Great. And then I want to do from the local storage, if you want to get any data, what exactly you have to do, that will be as a get item method, right? So here with this we can actually get it. I want to get that as an item. Okay, items. So I want to get these items. So if you want to get this item here, also when you get it, as I told you before, when you insert it, then that will be as a JSON as a first, remember? So now I want to put another condition here, that is our if condition, and into this if condition area here, that will be when it should be get any item. Okay, when it should be get any item, then I want to take it with this other item. So this item formatted, I have to change it, right? That will be as a JSON and JSON parse, right? So that is our JSON parse. So with this JSON parse method here, I want to convert it all that our object array data. I want to convert it with the JSON parse, and I take the things with this variable. Great. And else it should be display on the empty array. Okay, that means empty object it should be displayed. So with these items, and this item will be one of the empty object. Okay, I simply make it as an empty object. Great. And now if you want to push it, that means if you want to pass all that our data, here we have to pass that with the array object, right? So for the reasons I want to do with these items, if you want to add one of the array data, then that will be one of the push method, right? So that is a push push method, and into this push method area here I want to pass all that our object data, like I take it as a description, and our description will be as a description. Okay, so here I simply pass that our description all the data, and that means I have already you can see there is an array push. Okay, so with this array push I want to pass that all that our item, that means object all the data, and I want to take another one as a same as a time. Our time will be as a time. I simply loaded this time, and then the type. Okay, type will be our type. Okay, you can actually use that only one because that is our same name, our property, and then variable name, when that will be as the same as I told you before, when that our property and then value will be the same, then we don't need to pass we don't need to do that things like that way. Only one will be enough. Okay, if you make it only one name, then that will be perfect. Okay, better I want to make it as the easy part. I want to clean. I have already discussed about that things into the fundamental. I hope you understand this part. Here I simply add that our array push, and here I pass the description, time, type, and then value. Or rather than you can also make it into the same line, then that will be very easy. Better I make it into the same line. Okay, now that is pretty much great. So into this position now I want to actually insert our this object array data. Now I want to add all that our array object data, right? I want to add all that our array object data in our local storage. So into this local storage, if you want to add this data, then also what exactly you have to do, that will be as a set method, and also here we have to change it. Remember, array we have to change it with the JSON format as a JSON string file. So I want to do here into the local storage, and then the set item, right? With the set item method we insert this data, so that will be as a set item, and then I want to pass all that our key I have already take everything into the items, right? So that is our items, and here also we have to change this data. So here we have to make it as a JSON and then stringify, right? So that is a JSON stringify. JSON stringify will be our that item data. So here I simply pass this data. So now that should be stored this data in our local storage. Okay, so here I have already called this method in our, that is our add item method area. I have already declared this method, and here that is actually our function. Great. Now let's check this out. If you now click as a save all, and now if you go, now I want to refresh it fast, and now I want to add one of the item. I make it as a RN again, and then I put some of the value as a 50. Now click as a add. You can see it's now successfully add this item. If you go, you can see that is actually our all that item. So that is all that our array object data. I hope friend you get some of the idea, and that is our zero index. You can see that is our description as RN. It successfully get that time, our type as a plus type, and then value I have added as a 50. For the reasons it's now display as a 50. Great. And if you want to add another one, like I add as a plus, I make it as a Kazi, and then I pass another value as a 44. Okay, and after that I click as a submit. Yes, you can see now that is our another one is now successfully added as a 0 index and then the 1 index. Okay, great. So for better understanding, I want to do like this part. Okay, this part I want to take it with our another function. Better here I want to declare another function. I name that as a function. I name it as a get items, because we have to also get it, right? Better I want to make it as a get items from local storage. Okay, I want to create this type of another function, and into this function area here I want to take it. I simply cut it from to this position. Okay, I cut it from to this position, and here I want to paste it. So here if you want to load it in here, then what exactly you have to do? Simple, I want to return it. Okay, that means that will be return or these items. I simply return this item from to this area, and here now I want to get this method as a get item from local storage. So I want to load it in here. Okay, if you want to load it, and then I take one of the variable as a late, and I just name it as items. Okay, I name it as items, and then I want to do into this items area here I want to run our this method as a get item from local storage. I simply call this method. Okay, now that should be executed and everything will be just like that same before. So if you have any query like why I'm actually using these functions, I have already discussed about that things with you. When you actually create one of the function, all that functions materials, if you want to access it, only you have to call it, right? You can see I am simply call it. So if you want to add this time work multiple times, because here we need to add this time multiple times, so then we have to actually write down this code lot of the time. For the reasons right now, when that will be needed, when I want to get any item, then I simply will call this method. For the reasons here, I make that total part into one of the functions area. Okay, so now everything is same. If you now click at the save all, and now if you refresh it, now you can see after that refresh, our total data is not available in here, but that is actually visible in our local storage. As I told you before, local storage data will be saved, right? Here you can see our both of this data is in here. Now I want to get this data. I want to get all that our object array data, and here I want to visible it in our this item area. Okay, how can do that work? But I want to continue this process in our next video. I will show you that things with a live example. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video here, we successfully add all the data in our local storage, right? So now I want to get this data. That means get all that our local storage data. So if you want to get it for doing this, in our add item, right? So here I want to create another method. Okay, I want to create another method. I just name it as a function, and I name it as a show. Okay, show item or show items, so whatever you choose. So I make it as a show items. And also I want to declare our this one, that means this method I want to first of all declare it. And now into the show item area, I want to get all the data. Here I have already get all the data. You can see now that is needed. For the reasons I make it into the function area. Now I want to declare this function as get item from a local storage. I want to call this method. Okay, before I have already called this method in here. You can see that is the same, but I copy it. And now in our this method, that is a show item method. Okay, here I want to paste it. So I want to take one of the variable as items, and here I declare our this method. So with this method we'll get all that our array object data. Now I want to get all that one by one, all the data, right? So for the reasons here we have to run on the for of loop. So better I want to take one of the for. Okay, for, and into this for area here for the first time. Okay, for the first time that will be as a I take one of the late and I make it as an item. Okay, item. So item, that will be what? That will be the for of as a items, right? So that is our items. Great. I take everything in our this position, that means this variable as an item. So now with this item here I want to load our total element. Okay, that means this element. Okay, I simply better copy it. Okay, I copy the total element. I copy total things from to this position, and then in here in our this for loop, but I put some of the gap, and here I want to paste it. Okay, I simply paste it. Perfect. So now into this item, that is our format, right? So that is actually our format. So now we have to apply it, because I have already get everything in our this get element, and I take the things with this item. I run this for loop as items with this item. Now with this item we have to display this description. I make it as a with this item we have to display this description. With this item we have to display the time. With this item we have to display the type, and then that is actually another type. Okay, with this item we have to display it, and also with this item we have to display with this item we have to display this value. Okay, I simply display this value. And now we have to add it. That means we have to add our this item in our which position in our collection, right? So that is actually in our add item. Here I have already added the collection. You can see there is a collection, and into this collection area here I actually pass it with the after beginning, right? So now that will be same. I copy it. Okay, I copy both of this from here, and now in particular that position. So that is our method. And after this I want to paste it. Okay, I want to paste both of this, and into the for loop area here we have to add, right? For the reasons into the for loop area I want to add this collection. So that is our for loop, and that is all and one, and after this I want to paste it. Okay, that there is a collection with the insert adjustment HTML. That means the last one will be displayed into the first area. So for the reasons here I simply display that things in like that way. I hope friend it's very much clear to you. So that is our collection with into this collection area. Here I pass it, and then in the for loop area I want to insert everything. Great. Now if you want to check it, click as a save all. Now that should be display, because in our local storage there is the 2 data, right now you can see it's not display in here. Now if you click as a refresh, you can see now that is our local storage. All the data is visible. There is a Kazi and then the Aryan. If you go, you can see there is a Aryan as a value 50, Aryan as a value 50, and every data is successfully displayed. Okay, every data is displayed. That means our local storage data is displayed. If you want to make it as a minus, I make it as a Raju, and I put that as a 100. Now I want to insert this data, click as a add. You can see that is perfectly inserted, and that is also displayed in here. Great. That means right now we are able to successfully insert all the data in our local storage, and also from the local storage we can able to successfully get all the data and visible that item in here. Okay friend, I hope it's very much clear to you how to do that work. You can see it's now successfully get all the data. In our next video, I want to discuss about like they have also into the UI. I have already designed it as a that is the expenses, the income, right? So I want to add all that our expense, like that is our red mark as a minus value, right? So that is our minus value, and that is also this minus value, that is means that is all that our expense. So all that our expense will be displayed in here, and all that our that is our income, all that our income will be displayed in here. Okay, and our total balance will be minus from our expense. That means our total income will be minus our expense, and then that will be our total balance. Okay, how can do that work? In our next video I will show you that things with a live example. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, here we successfully get all the data from our local storage, right? Now I want to calculate this number. Like that is all that our that means when that will be as a green as a plus, then that will be our income. And when that will be as a minus and the red, then that will be all that our expenses. So now I want to calculate first of all that our income. Okay, that means which type will be as a plus. So this plus all the value data I want to sum. Okay, so if you want to do that work, so these 3 of this data actually comes from our local storage, and that is actually our static data. Better first of all I want to remove it. Okay, I want to remove it from our template. If you go to our index.html, and you can see there is actually the 2 of this item. Better I want to minimize it, and also I minimize it, and so both of this I want to make it as a comment out. Okay, here I select it, and with pressing that Control Alter, so now that will be as a comment out. Okay, now that should be not display. Click as a save all, and now if you go click as a refresh, you can see now there is a 3 data, and this 3 data actually comes from our local storage. If you want to check it, go to that inspect, and into this inspect, if you go to our application, local storage, items, you can see now there is a 3 of this data, and now this 3 data is visible. Perfect. So as I told you, first of all I want to get all the data. Okay, if you want to get this data, I want to go to our index, and into this index here, like that is our last one, right? That is our last one. So better after this I want to take one of the new function as a show total. Okay, total income. Okay, show total income. This type of one of the function I want to create, and I want to declare this function. That will be as a function, and then the show. Okay, show total income. I simply loaded these things in here. So first of all, what exactly we have to do? Here we have to get all the data, that means all that our add object data, right? So that is all that our add object data. So I have already created this method, that method name, I have already named it as a get item from local storage. Remember? So now I have already did that same things, but I copy it. So first of all, I will get all that our local storage data and take the things with this variable. Okay, and now what exactly we have to do? We have to get all that our positive data. That means where type will be as a plus. I want to get this data. So it should be checked one by one all. For the reasons we have to run one of the for loop. I want to add one of the for. Okay, I want to add that for, and then I take that as a late as an item. Okay, I name it as item of our items. Right? That is our. I have already get all that our local storage data with this method, take the things with this variable. Now that is our items. I make it as an item. Now with this item we are able to access all that our type, right? Type, value, everything we can able to access it. So into this for loop area, I want to put another condition. Okay, I want to put another if condition, and into this if condition, now with this item I want to access our type. Okay, I want to access that type. I want to access this type when this type will be equal as a plus. Okay, that means I want to get that or all that positive value. If you go here, here if you go, you can see that is a type and type as a plus. Okay, so I want to get all that are positive value, and that is our with this item I access that type, and when that will be equal plus, I want to get it. Okay, here I want to actually sum it. So if you want to sum it, first I want to initialize with one of the variable as a late, and I just name it as a total. Okay, total income, and that will be actually our sum, and initialize with the 0. Previously I have already discussed about that things with you. Now we are using it in our project. Now I want to do that is our total income, right? So that is our total income. Here I want to add it. So if you want to add it, that will be what? That will be as a plus equal, right? That is a plus equal. It should be sum all the data. But here this data will be one of the string type, right? Here we have to make it as a numeric type. So if you want to make this numeric type, then there is also another method as a parse init. Okay, parse, you can see there is a parse init. So now I want to declare this parse init, and here I want to display all that our value, right? Now that will be actually add what? That will be add all that our value. If you go, you can see that is actually our value as a total amount, right? So now that will be add this data. So for the reasons, now with this item, okay, with this item I want to access that value. Okay, that is actually our value. Perfect. I hope, friend, every part is very much clear to you. So here I simply add all that number. If you want to check it, you can also check it like with this console log, okay, console log. With this console log, now I want to check it. That is our total income. I want to check this total income. Click as a save all. Now go there, click as a refresh. So right now our total would be as a 5 and then 44, right? That means that 94. If you now go to the console, and the console, yes, you can see it's now perfectly get that as a 94. Now I want to do the same things for the -1. Okay, that means when this type will be as a minus, I want to also add all that number. So that will be just like that same. Here, better I write down this code again. So the first time I want to create one of the function. Okay, I make it as a show total expense. Okay, I make it as a show total expense. I simply declare it, and then I want to call this function as a show. Okay, show total total expense. Okay, that is a show total expense. Perfect. So I simply declare it, and then what exactly we have to do? Simple work. We have to get this data. Better I copy it. Okay, I copy the total things from to this position. I copy it, and then here after that I paste it. Okay, I simply paste it. Now that will be get all that items. So here with this we'll get all that our local storage data, and then I make it as a total income. I make it as a another variable as a total expense. Okay, expense, total expense will be as a 0, and then item the same, and when this item will be now as a minus, right? So when that will be as a minus, then also will be get all the type data, then that will be add all the type data, the same things will be display, and now I'm going to display our that will be as a total expense, and with this expenses area it will be add. And now I want to visible it. Okay, I want to visible it into the console log. Now let's check this out. Click the save all. Before the same concept, I hope, friend, you already remember what exactly the things I have done. Now that is our they have only one as a 100, so now that should be displayed as a 100. Click as a refresh. Yes, you can see it's now displayed as a 100. So if you add another one, like I for the minus, okay, for the minus I want to add new one. I make it as a, I put some of the appropriate name as a book. Okay, book, and then I make as a 50. Now click as enter. Now you can see it's now successfully inserted. Now if you refresh, yes, you can see our total expense is now 150 and our total income is now 94. Great. Now I want to display our income. Okay, so that is the income. This result I want to display in here. So if you want to display it, if you go to our index, into this index, you can see that is actually our income amount, and that is our expense amount, right? Right now both of these as a 0. here there is one of the class as the income amount class. So now we have to get it, right? I hope you already know what exactly the things you have to do in here. So that is in our show in total income. Okay, here first of all we have to get this data. So if you want to get it, that will be as a document, and then the query selector, that is a query selector. So with this query selector here, our class name as a income amount, right? And also there is another one as a p tag. Right here there is also p tag. I want to take this p tag. Okay, here after this I take this p tag. Great, right? And after that p tag here, that is one of the inner text, right? I want to pass that inner text in here. So that will be one of the inner text I want to do. After that, okay, after that, that will be one of the dot inner HTML inner, why exactly the inner text? So that will be the inner text. I want to use that inner text, and this inner text will be what type of value I want to visible. That will be into the back tag. Okay, into this back tag area I want to pass that dollar. Okay, because there is also one of the dollar I want to visible, and then after that, that is actually our function dollar. So with this function dollar, that is our curly bracket, and into this curly bracket area, and here I want to pass this our total amount. Okay, I hope you already know and that functionality. Here I simply pass it. So now let's check this out. Click as a save all. Now go click as a refresh. You can see there is our dollar sign, and then there is a 94. So this 94 value is now successfully visible in here. Okay, which is totally fine. So that is our dollar. You can see there is a string of the value, and that is actually our function value. That is a function dollar. And now I want to do the same things for another one, but I copy it, and then that is for the expenses. I paste it. So that is our another class name as the expenses amount, right? I copy it, and then that will be as a spent amount, and that will be as a p tag. Inner HTML will be same, only that will be as a total expense. Okay, so now let's check this out. Click as a save all, and now that should be display our total expense. You can see there is a 150. So now if you add new one, like I make it as a or computer. For the computer I add another additional 100. Now click as a add. You can see it's now successfully add this data as a 100, which is totally fine. If you now refresh, now that is 194. You can see it's now displayed as a 194. Great, but here that should be not like that, right? After that refresh, when you add any product, after that refresh, that is executed. Okay, here that should be not refresh this page. So if you want to do that work, is very easy. Here I have already saved all that item in which place. Only we have to actually declare both of this method. So better I copy this method. Okay, I copy this method, and here I save all the things. In particular this add item, right? So into this add item area here I want to declare both of this method. Okay, after this, this function area I want to declare our two of this method as a show total income and show total expense. So I want to use it. So that will be the show total income, and also I want to add another one as a show total expense. Okay, here I want to simply loaded both of this in here. So friend, that's all. Now let's check this out. Click as a save all, because right now when that will be as a add this data, automatically these two of this will be executed. Two of this method will be executed. Now if you go click as a refresh it, and right now we don't need this. I want to close it. Okay, close it. Right now our 194, right? So that is our total add value. I want to add new one. Okay, I want to add new one as a SD, and if for the SD, like I make it as a 6. Okay, now that should be automatically updated without loading that page as a 200. Now click as a add. You can see SD as a updated as a $6, and automatically without loading that page that is updated. Okay, and also for the expense, right now as a 150, I want to make another expense as a book. Okay, I make it again as a book or laptop, and I make another one as a $50. Now click as a add. Without loading that page is now successfully updated. Okay, if you want to add new one as a drive, okay, drive, I make this drive as a $50, Now that should be updated in here. Now click as add. Yeah, it's successfully updated. Okay, and also this data is successfully inserted with this time. Great. In our next video, I want to do and to display the total balance. Okay, total balance will be what? That will be our income and that is our expense, right? When that will be, it should be minus from our expense, then that will be our total balance. How can do that work? How can display it in our next video? I will show you that things with the live example. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, here we successfully display all that our income, and also here we successfully display all that our expense, right? Now I want to get our total balance. Total balance will be that is our income will be minus our expense, then that will be our total balance, right? Now let's do that work. For doing this, here in our index, so to this index, I want to create another method. Like that is our total, the show total income and to show total expense. So that will be just like that same. Okay, that will be just like that same. Better after this I want to declare another method as a show. Okay, show total balance. Okay, total balance. So this type of one of the function, I want to declare this function. That will be as a function. There is a functions, and then that will be the show. Okay, show total balance, right? So that is our function. I simply declare this function. So into this function, what exactly you have to do? First of all, we have to get all that our data, right? I have already get displayed all the data with this get item from local storage. That is one of the method. Now to do and to declare this method. With this we'll get all that our value. Now to do, and first time I want to get all the data. Okay, all that our local storage data, I take it with this item. And after that, what exactly we have to do? We have to for each it, right? We have to run that for loop. I want to use that as a for, and into this for area I want to declare that let. I make it as an item. Okay, item of items. Okay, so that will be the items. I simply declared this items. I hope you already remembered that part. That is very easy process right now. And then I want to do better for the starting variable. I want to set in here. I take one of the variable as a balance. Okay, I make it as a let, and then balance. I want to start that things that will be started from the 0. And now this balance, okay, this balance will be as a plus when it will be get all the items. So into this if for each condition, here I want to add another if. That is our if condition, and with this if with this item, right? With this item, when our type, okay, that is our type, when that will be as equal plus, then I want to add this data, right? So that will be our balance. So with this balance I want to do that will be as a plus equal, right? So that will be as a plus equal. That means that will be add all the data. So first of all I want to do, that is our number, and here also we have to change it because that is all that our string value. Here we have to make it as a numeric value, right? If you want to make this numeric value, then that will be as a parse init, right? That is a parse init. So now with this I want to change all that our value. So if you want to access this value, that will be as our item and then the value. Okay, I simply take this value. Great. So if it's positive, then it will be add all that number, and else, okay, that will be else it should be same, else it should be minus, right? That means our balance will be as a minus equal. That will be as a minus equal, it should be minus all that number, and then I want to change that our string type, that is a parse init, and then our item, right? Item, with this item, that will be our value. I simply take it. Great. Right now all the things in our balance. Now I want to display it, right? If you go to our index, into this index, that is actually our total balance, right? Into the total balance you can see there is our balance amount, and then there is also another p tag. So that will be just like that same. Here there is a query selector, but I copy it. Okay, I copy it, and then after this here I paste it. So now that is a document, and then the query selector, into this query selector class name as a balance amount. So that will be as a balance amount, and then the p tag, and then in our inner text area, here I want to display our which things. I want to display our balance. Okay, so I simply, right now we don't need this. So here I want to do and simply display this balance. Now if you want to check it, click as a save all. And now let's check this out. Go there, click as a refresh. You can see it's now successfully displayed as a 50. It's now successfully displayed as a $50 because of all our income as a 250 and then expense as a 200. That means our total balance as a 50. Here, if you also want to change it, like when that will be as a minus, if you want to change that background color, you can also change it. Like if you go to that index, here you can see into the header that have one of the class as a green. So I want to do when that will be as a positive, then that will be as a green, and when that will be as a negative, then that will be changed as a red. Okay, so if you want to do that work here, after this, okay, after this I want to add another if condition. Okay, I hope you already remembered that part, what exactly you have to do. That is will be our balance. Okay, balance, and with this balance, when this balance will be as a greater than, okay, greater than or the equal as a 0, then I want to do here I want to first of all get all that our with this document, and then the query selector. You can actually do a lot of work, friend. If you understand that core functionality is very easy. Then our class name as a header, right? So I want to get that as a header. I simply get it as a header, and into this header area there have also one of the class name as a green, right? I want to copy it, and now after that, and when that will be header, into this header area I want to do after that will be our class name. So dot class name, right? So this class name I want to do, then that will be as a green. Great. And else, okay, else I want to do the another work. Else it will be the same things. Okay, that means it will be same, only our class name will be changed as a red. Okay, then that will be as a red. So that is a pretty much simple condition I apply. Now if you click as a save all, now go there, click as a refresh, everything is great. But right now I want to increase our expense. Okay, here I make it as expense another $100. Okay, sorry, I make it as value as a 100, and I'll take another one as a book 1. Okay, book 1. Now if you click as a save, so now you can see it's now successfully inserted. And now if you refresh it, you can see our background is now become changed because our total balance is now minus 50. Okay, it's now successfully changed. And also here you can see there is the same things, like when you add this data that is not updated, after that refresh is updated, then what exactly you have to do, I have already discussed about that things with you. Only we have to actually call this method when this data is added. And that means in our added method, here you can see before I have already added both of this in our add item method. Into this add item method, after this I want to add also our total, that is a show total balance. Okay, this method I loaded. Now click as a save all. Now that should be executed. Here right now we don't need to refresh this page. I want to add another income as a plus. I make it as a mobile. Okay, mobile, and for the mobile I will make another 100. Okay, I make it as another 100. So now that should be as a another balance. Now click as add. You can see now our balance is updated at 350, 300 minus, so that means our total balance as a 500, and also our background is changed without loading this page. Okay, friend, I hope it's very much clear to you. How to do that work is very simple. One of the condition, okay, here with very simple one of the condition we actually change that our class name. So if you want to make it with the ternary operator, then you can also do that work. Then that will be only simple one line. Okay, I hope you already know how to do that work, but I show you. Okay, I show you. Like then that will be one of the documents with this document, then the query selector, right? The same procedure. There is a query selector here. We have to get that our header. Like I make it as a header. Okay, that is our header. There is a header class, and then the class name. Okay, class name, and class name is the what? Class name when that will be, I want to do, that is this condition I want to apply in here. Okay, so that will be one of the condition when this balance will be as a greater than or the equal 0, then okay, then that will be, I want to change that class name as a green. Okay, green, and else that will be as a red. Okay, red, that is another class as a red. You can see with the simple one line we can actually do that work. Okay, so right now we don't need to write down this code. So if you want to write down it, you can write down it rather than that will be perfect. Okay, if you better I make it as a comment out. And now if you check it, click as a save all. Now that will be the same. You can also do that work like that way. I want to add another one as a mobile. Okay, mobile one, and I put that value as if like as a 200, and I make it as a minus. Okay, then our background will be changed. Now click as a add. You can see everything is perfectly working. So as I told you, you can do that things like that way, or rather than if you want to make it as a ternary operator with the simple one line, you can do this work. Okay, I hope both of this is very much clear to you. I hope friend you enjoyed this project. So this is very simple one of the project, but very interactive, lot of the functionality. I hope it's now very clear to you. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video here, we successfully display our total balance, right? So now in this project, okay, in this project, there is some of the only one things I want to update. Like if they have that multiple amount of balance, like I show you, I want to add some of the other things as a mobile or computer again, computer one. And for the computer one, I make it as a 2000, okay, or 20,000. So here I simply add it. Now you can see it's not display that things like that way. Okay, here I want to add some of the separator. If you want to add this separator, that is in our total balance. If you go our total balance, I have display in here, right? So into this position, that is our method as a show total balance method, and into this balance method, that is our balance I display. So into this area here, only you have to do after that, there is another method. Okay, after that there is another method as a to local string. So there is a to local string. So when you declare this method, then that will be as a separated. Now I click as a save all. If you now go, now refresh it, now you can see now there is actually separated with this comma. Okay, and now I want to add the same separated for our this income, for our this expense, and also in here. Okay, how can do that work? For doing this better, I want to do here, if you actually call it, then every time you have to write down that things in our every places, rather than you can also create another method, then that will be easy. Better here after this. Okay, I want to declare another function, that is our function keyword. I just name it as a separator, okay, or sep, whatever the name. And into the separator area, I want to pass one of the amount. Okay, amount, great. And into this amount, I want to do, I take that amount. So that is our amount, and this amount, whatever the value will be, that means it's maybe it's as a string value, or it may be another value. So now if we have to change it, right? We have to change it to the numeric value. If you want to change it, then that will be the parse, right? I have already discussed about that things with you. There is a percent, and into this position I want to pass this amount. Okay, I simply pass it. Great, and then I simply return this amount. That means the return our this amount, I simply return this to the to local string. Okay, so here I simply loaded that things in here. So now we can actually call out this method name as a separated method. Like here there is a balance, and I pass before that to local string, right now we don't need to pass it. Only I want to call our method. Okay, that is our method as a separated, and in particular that position I want to pass this balance. Okay, I cut it and here I paste it. Now that should be updated. If you don't click as a save all, our result will be just like that same before. Click as a refresh, you can see it's now same. Okay, I hope it's very clear to you, friend. Now with this we can actually do that work. And now also I want to do the same things in our that is actually expenses, right? Into this expenses, here you can see before I pass that our total expense. So, okay, before I pass that total expense, so into this total expense area, right now I want to pass it with the separator method. So that is our separator method, and into this method area here I want to pass out this total expense. I cut it and then I paste it. Okay, then that will be enough. I copy it, and also there is another one as a show total income. So total income, and then here you can see I pass it, that is our total income. So I want to paste it, and here I want to add our this total income. I cut it, and here into this function area I paste it. Now if you click as a save all, now go there, now that should be also updated. Now click as a refresh, you can see it's also updated. Great. and there is a 3 value for the reasons it's not displayed like that way. And also there is our another one, right? There is another one. If you go, that is in our here we need this separator, but I copy it. Okay, I copy this separator, and now that is all that our you can see there is actually the value. So into this value area here I want to do and to pass it. So that will be our cut it. I pass that value. And also there is another one. There is a value. You can see there is also another value. So here also I want to pass that as a sep. Okay, separator method, and into this method area I want to pass our item value. I simply pass it. Okay, that is our value. That's all. Okay, that's all. Now that should be also updated. If you now click as a save all, now that should be also updated in here. Now click as a refresh. Yeah, you can see it's now successfully updated. Great. So friend, here we successfully complete one of the project. I hope you like it very much, and is very much interactive one of the things. Now your job is to, I have already discussed about every one by one line. I hope friend everything is very clear. So if you have any issues, if you have any confusion, just let me know about it. I am here to help you. In our next video, I will start another section, and with this session we'll solve another project. I hope you like it very much.